All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway Series, Xfinity Series, I should say, here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. Drivers just now getting on track to put down their qualifying laps, so they'll have 5 minutes to try to get their best laps in to see who will start up front for tonight's 75 lap Green White Checkered pending results tonight. So you can see, as always, though, say 75 laps race distance. Of course, the one faster pair available for drivers if they need it. Right now, track temperature not too bad for these guys. 65 degrees ambient, 68 degrees track temperature. However, it's set to the morning, so it's only going to get warmer as the day and the race progresses. However, let's also go over our point standings coming into tonight, because somehow we're already a quarter of the way through the season here, Matt. And up front, it's Sebastian Marin with the points lead with 2 wins out of his 3 races. And then you've got Vicente Guerrero also getting one of his wins this season there in second. Then Todd Siebels, Michael Pegg, third and fourth, Quabi Brooks in fifth. And then remember, top 8's going to be the magic mark. So you got Donald Stewart, and then tied for 7th. Actually, we got a 4-way tie for that 8th position with Jay Hilliard, Dustin Lamb, Robert Rock, and Brian Grimm. Or no, Jay Hilliard. I'm all sorts of broken tonight, Matt. Jay Hilliard, Dustin Lamb, and Robert Rock. So 3-way tie with right now Brian Grimm just on the outside of that spot in the 10th position.
Yeah, there is no question but Sebastian is making his mark early in this season. We're already with 2 wins out of the 3. I think we'll continue to see his dominance throughout the regular season.
Yeah, and of course, last week I feel like kind of the, if you will, we always talk about super speedway races in a regular NASCAR season, kind of being the just kind of the crapshoot race, if you will say. But last week with the Super Speedway Series, iRacing Super Speedway, that one being I'm about to sneeze.
You okay, Dial?
That one being the super speed, the kind of, the crapshoot race for that league. Yeah, says my body's like, hey, let's sneeze. I'm like, hey, let's not. I'm in the middle of a sentence here. But yeah, so say putting that one behind us last week, and say kind of getting back to the bread and butter, if you will, of the Super Speedway Series here at Area 51.
Yeah, last week was a bit of a shake-up there for most of these drivers. Too bad for some unfortunate circumstances for some drivers. And like I said, we talked about this last week there, Gaio, the netcode issue. But hopefully here at Talladega, we don't have that problem here.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'm going to try to hunt down some, we had some chats we were doing before, and let me scroll up here. And so, yeah, so basically some good friends, and of course with Area 51 kind of being a little family. Say Charles Johnson, one of the founders of this league. Unfortunately, some not so great news for some people close to him. Say you got unfortunately one of the 13-year-old in critical condition, having some surgeries and stuff. His name's Colin. So yeah, definitely for those that are able to do so, if you can keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Hopefully surgeries go smoothly, and hopefully he can get back to as full of a life as he can. We'll say once there's so much that he's gonna have to do for that, but. Yeah, definitely thinking of him and his family.
We wish you, Colin, a speedy and full recovery.
So yeah, it's always a tough thing to deal with when you got, again, it's just kind of like you said, just a kind of a tight knit family with some of these guys, with the competition, and like I said, even in the booth and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely some tough goes for these guys. But like you said, hopefully a quick, speedy, and full recovery for them. All right. So with that though, Matt, looks like qualifying just about to complete here, and it looks like it has just completed right now. So. Say while these guys all start to get gridded up, we'll go ahead and pull up our starting grid for tonight's event, and it's going to be none other than Sebastian Marin taking another pole position in that number 23, Brian Wang right next to him in that number 25. Then you got Jackson Carr coming back in tonight in that 097 in third. Vicente Guerrero, mentioned his win earlier this season, in fourth, and then Dale Willoughby rounds out our top 5. And 6th through 10th, you got J.D. Crow, Dean Wilkinson, Cody Nagels, Seth Gruver, B.K. Anderson. 11th, you got Jay Hilliard, Derek Gilroy in 12th. Continuing down the running order, Eric Laurie, Peter DeBorgia, Quabi Brooks, Chummy Miller, Brian Grimm, Jack Walls, Randy Miner, Kevin LaChance, Michael Spell, Nick Monfretti, Kyle Power, TJ Mashaw there. Looks like TJ the first of those not to put down a qualifying lap in 24th. And we'll continue moving forward here through the running order. We got Gaetano Papalardo, Patrick Groover, Matt Wagner. You're here. You're not racing. Sorry.
Yeah.
But then you got Joseph Morales, Donald Stewart, Jim Brooks, Bob Fitzgerald, Dustin Lamb, Dan Harrington, James Hickson, Robert DuPont, Todd Siebels. We talked about some of those guys starting towards the back. 36 for Todd Siebels. And then Jason Middleton in 37th position.
Yeah, it was fun taking some practice laps with the boys down there. Great group of guys.
Yeah, it really is. And so right now it looks like probably about 30, 35. It looks like roughly maybe driver strong here tonight. So a good group of drivers here. A big number here, of course, for these guys to take part in this one tonight. So, but again, if you have a bad race, this could obviously really hurt you in the point standing. So one thing to mention too is those first 8 races before we get to those final 4, they do have their worst race being a drop week. So say if something does happen, they do at least have that opportunity for them. But of course, these guys want to have as many good races as they can here tonight. See field rolling off the front stretch, heading back to get things rolling here. And say, Matt, this might be one of the first races this season that we're not going to have matching paint schemes for some of our drivers here. Notably, the 01, the 02, as they talked to Seth a little bit earlier today. In that 02's the McDonald's paint scheme there. Sounds like kind of a paint scheme from his favorite driver, Jamie McMurray. So sounds like one of the drivers also were able to throw that together for him. But they said that we go to the 01 of Patrick Groover. I say he's still got that NOS Energy car. So I say we'll have to see if maybe they can twist some arms and legs and see if we can get Patrick into maybe an inverse version of that McDonald's scheme. Or maybe, like you mentioned too, maybe get some competition, throw a Burger King paint scheme on that number 01 as well.
I don't know if it's your screen guy up, but I am showing a Batman scheme on the back of that 01 car.
Yeah, that may exactly be it on the 01. Or actually on the back of the 01? I got NOS Energy, so maybe I have to refresh mine. We'll play with that if we get our first yellow. I'll take a look and say maybe it didn't update, but I don't want to do that mid-race here.
Yes, sir.
Because otherwise all the paint schemes disappear and come back. So it'll look a little crazy there to start things off, but maybe say we get a chance for a yellow. I'll try to remember and get that switched, and maybe that's what I might be missing there. Say also an updated paint scheme for Brian Wang, and say that all black Kellogg's Cornflakes car in that number 25 on that front row as well. All right, see the pace car just about to duck off. But say it's one of those things that they love to say every time they come to Talladega. I say you see the pace car is going to duck off, but we got to go through the entire trial here before they can get that green flag. Of course, Daytona, that start-finish line will be just a couple hundred feet ahead of these guys here. I'll say that's about where the flagman will wave that green flag. So we've seen some crazy things happen between that middle of the trial to this trial here at the exit for Talladega as the green flag is out and we are underway.
And no, I'm not going to say boogity, boogity, boogity.
I'm quite all right with that. As they head into turn number 1 for the first time. So right now, Jackson Carr giving a huge shove to start things off here to Sebastian Marin. But again, sometimes that big push is not what you want to have. And look at Jackson, as soon as he does that, basically just pushes himself enough to lead that outside line, as he's going to try to see if he can be the one to get that first lap in that number 097 car. And immediately drops back in front of that 23 of Sebastian Marin. So now we'll see which lane's going to be the one to go with. Or maybe Sebastian can kind of return the favor here because he's getting pretty far clear. There he goes. He's going to return the favor. Jump to that outside of that 097 of Jackson Carr. Kind of give him a taste of his own medicine all right off the bat here on lap number 1.
Still way early in this race.
Yeah, and I think that just shows the comfort level of these guys with one another. So Sebastian does indeed lead lap number 1. Had the opportunity to drop down low, opted to stay put there in that second group. So again, I believe with his teammate, if I'm not mistaken, of Brian Wang right behind him in that 25. So And that's something we'll see too, I think, a lot here, Matt, is these guys staying with the drivers that they feel the most comfortable with. A lot of times you'll see him jump straight to the inside to clear and say, okay, I'm going to get to that short lane, as he does that once again here entering 3. But a lot of times you will see some of these guys just go ahead and stay more committed to their teammates, if you will. As you see, here comes Jackson. He's going to do exactly the same thing, this time out of turn number 4. So I think learned from his first attempt there on lap number 1. Now he's going to try to get that big push here through the start-finish line, see if he can lead lap number 2, and he will.
Looks like one car is creeping his way toward the back. I can't see what quite number that is.
I think it's the 06 of Cody Nagels, if I'm not mistaken. He's dropped a handful of spots. I think Peter DeBorge in the 26 looks like they both have the same idea here, as they've both dropped about 10 to 15 positions from where they started. So they're just, like you said, they're, I think, kind of cruising back here, trying to find that safe place to ride early on in this one. So again, long race here, 25 laps roughly on the fuel window. Most likely a 2-stop race here. They should be able to actually get closer to 27, 28 really if they can be in this draft like they are right now. So I think they just know this really isn't the time to make these big moves as of yet. So they're just going to try to ride it out here, keep it safe, and hopefully have some reaction time if there's a potential wreck here towards the front of the field. And the other thing is these guys definitely a little bit taking a little easier at this opening stature of the race. Of course, let's say Talladega, really easy to run that third lane here, but right now pretty much everybody's content here running 2x2. I saw Patrick Groover in the 01. He's starting to been peeking out a little bit. Now he has committed to the outside line. And as soon as I was talking about the 26 just kind of taking easy, riding in the back, looks like he's going to try to jump up with that number 01, see if they can make a charge to the front here with each other, working that third lane. So far, not much going with the third lane as of yet. I think those 2 lanes are just working too much speed right now for that third lane to really kick off. You can see they keep trying. They get the momentum. They jump up top. You see Dean Wilkinson there on the inside, on the left side under the yellow line. He's rolling straight to the back there. Maybe something he saw up front he didn't like, so he's going to roll on back as well there. And I think he's going to probably come in around. Actually, looks like he's in a pretty good pocket here. There's actually a little bit of separation at one point here. Looks like, right around Dean Wilkinson there. That's always a concern, though. You never want to get too far off the back there.
Yeah, that's a little bit dangerous. Where you're at back there. I think it's Garantano, Papalano, TJ, Dean Wilkinson, Donald Stewart. I really don't want to be that far back. You definitely don't want to lose the main pack.
Yeah, so right here, you're really flirting with losing that main pack. However, as I look back towards the front of that lead pack, and we've gone 3 wide here, it looks like with about 6 rows deep, roughly. And so with that, I think that's going to propel that second group right back up to them, because right now, Gaetano and TJ, teammates, of course, the 31 and the 33, they're in a really good position themselves to... They know how to push each other well. So apologies to cat yelling in the background there. But yeah,
so that cat guy.
Yeah, so I already fed him, so it can't be that. But yeah, but that third lane, man, look at JD Crow. He's been one to be able to take advantage of that as they go 3x3 right at the line there. I think it was still Brian who had just a nose ahead, but that outside line definitely starting to surge.
Yeah, as I took a couple of laps in practice. I'm not as good as these guys are, but we were able to make that outside line work pretty good.
Yeah, as you see the 5 able to do the elevator there top to bottom there. You see Quabi Brooks in the 53. He didn't like what he saw. He's been rolling out of it as well, but still kind of had to run the apron there just a little bit through 3 and 4. Now finds an opening to slide back up on in here. So with everything that's gone on, though, it's allowed now Seth Gruber here to peak just a little bit ahead in the 02 car. But you can see the 01 of Patrick Gruber not too far away from his brother. So this is where I'm going to get intrigued here. Does maybe Seth jump up top here to try to grab onto his brother? Or do they think maybe the outside line's enough where maybe the 01 can push and get in front of the 02? And so far, it looks like that might be what their strategy is. Right now, it looks like about 4 cars on the outside line, the 01, the 2688, and the 04, all holding on pretty strong here with one another, I must say.
Yep, there goes Patrick to the outside there.
Say Jack Walls, he's like, that looks fun too. I'm going to hop in there as well, that 83 Pennzoil car. So he's going to peek up there, bring that 5th car to the outside lane. But right now, just a nose ahead is that number 5 of JD Cronin. So you look out the back here, and I mean, you say this is probably about what you want to see if you're towards the front. You say if you're going to see a lot of craziness, you want it to be in your mirror. So I'm going to say right now, as I said, of course, Seth able to get the push to the front there in that 02. But again, staying committed to that middle lane here so far. And my cat is... sorry. Yeah, so I'm going to have to wait for a caution because, yeah, my four-legged here wants me to play with him. He's apparently been very neglected here today. So apologies for I said we got a 3rd commentator in the house here, Matt.
Oh, don't worry. I know all about it. Mine's a little feisty at the moment.
So, yeah,
but more and more people are coming up to that 3rd lane now. I'm seeing a lot of visitors up there. I know Jack Walls jumped to the outside there earlier. I'm looking at another car jumping to the outside right now.
Yeah, that's Dean Wilkinson. But say the 02, he picked up his brother. He just said, okay, you know what? Now's the time. I'm going to try to pick you up. And they're going to try to make that 3rd lane work together here, which has now allowed the 25 to have free roam on the middle lane with Vicente Guerrero, though, right behind him in that number 14.
It was a little bit bobble on that inside line, which caused that outside line to check up a little bit. And they lost all their momentum.
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh, we have a little bit of bobble up in the 3rd lane right now.
Oh, yeah, the 01. Say something with the 01 there for just a moment. Not sure. Looks like actually that car, I think it's still in their power, but you're right, the way off pace here. Let me go back. Actually, I'm sorry, the 02. No, not the 02. I'm sorry. Well, the 02 is dropping back too, but yeah, something happened there because actually I'm looking at the 26 here of Peter DeBorgia. And I'm going to try to hop, we'll hop onto, I think that's Michael Spell right behind him. So we'll take a look here, but you can see that center punch to the rear end of that 26 car. So, yeah, that 3rd lane really stacked up pretty aggressively there. And as I'm trying to still go back to find Patrick Gruber, and he's fallen way back now into almost into the 30s here.
Yeah, he's the 27 spot. My guess would be probably, no. I don't think overheating. He was leading.
No, I think it was maybe a push, probably just a push gone wrong, and you kind of get that big wobble, and then say it's just kind of that accordion checkup behind those guys, and I think that's pretty much what wound up doing it. And say unfortunately for Peter DeBorgia, he was the one that got packed into the rear end there. Pretty straight, pretty solid hit, but centered. So I think that'll be okay. But the question is, who hit that 26 car? Because that car should have some nose damage to the front of it. If I was a betting man. Was it Michael Spell that was behind him?
I will do some research on that.
I'm gonna peek out the back here of Nick Manfredi, and right now Michael's too close to look. Now that nose looks pretty solid on Michael Spell's car, so I think he's all right there. So yeah, I'm not sure who may have got the nose damage, but I feel like there should be somebody. However, as they run, oh man, that 25 is gonna get hung out here by the 14 and the 32 car of BK Anderson. But look at that, picking up the slack right away. Jackson Carr saw that opening, so yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll lead that middle lane as he's going to peek up into that 2nd groove there and try to see if he can push himself back to the front.
A little bit of weird when Micah Spell got in the back of Peter. Peter just barely grazed that outside wall, and that's where that damage came from. His rear hit the outside wall. It's quite weird how that happened. But no nose damage to Michael Spell there. It's quite weird.
Yeah, so just maybe enough for the back end, maybe a little softer than the nose of Michael Spell's car, maybe a little extra bracing, if you will. You never know with these hits in iRacing what's going to do for which drivers, but right now, so these guys just... I say we're still plenty early on in this one, Matt, only on lap number 13. Again, we talked about that fuel window probably being around 26, 27 roughly, maybe even 28 if they can stretch it a little bit more. So right now, it's not too big of a push here for these guys to kind of keep fighting like they are 3 wide. But at some point, you know that these guys are going to get a little more antsy, try to find their way down to the inside if they get the opportunity, because they're going to want to have that inside line for pit stops. But again, though, if you want to pit here, I feel like you want to be further up the running order than Then some of these guys that have kind of singled out from about, I'd say, looks like around the 99 car, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to find that Napa machine there. Yeah, Kyle Power. That's not too bad, but like if you fall back to like Michael Spell, Quabi Brooks, I feel like that's too far back to have to hit pit road. Because at this point, you're already over almost 2 seconds off the lead there.
Yeah, I totally agree. You come to pit road, you get one small little mistake. One small mistake, it pretty much could end your race, and you could lose the draft, and you know how that is. It's pretty much game over.
Yeah, exactly right. So I think you want to be towards the front during pit stops. Like I said, everybody's got their kind of their trains of thought and their game plans, and so like these guys up front, pretty much. I mean, you look at Jackson Carr qualified third. He's in the lead. Brian Wang's right around there where he started. Pretty much the top five are plus minus about 2 positions. And so where I'd be sitting is probably around that spot where that number 99 just mentioned, the 83 of Jack Walls. I usually try to just sit in the inside line right before the 3 wides going on, or right behind the 3 wide, I should say. And I'm saving just a ton of fuel. You're not as stressed about having cars right to your outside. And I feel like it just gives you a little bit more leniency. And then once they start getting to that pit window, probably about 5 to go until you pit, that's when I try to make that second, third lane happen. Kind of, I did my saving early, if you will, and then I really try to start pushing to the front to kind of go a little longer than the guys up front, but still to try to pit towards the front of the field when I do make my stop, if that makes any sense.
No, you're fine, brother. I'm watching BK Anderson and Vicente Guerrero trying to make that third lane work up there. It was working for a little bit, but I'm seeing their pace drop off.
Yeah, everybody's starting to split up here. I think people are starting to think about pit stops already, because you can see pretty much everybody's starting to abandon that middle and outside lanes to get to the bottom. I'll say the Groover brothers, they found each other, and they picked up Dean Wilkinson as well for good measure, but they're still trapped on that third lane. And that front group here they're kind of starting to separate themselves out a little bit. They're not really as tightly packed as they were earlier. So right now, like I mentioned, BK Anderson's leading that second groove, but just the pace isn't going where he wants to. He's falling outside the top 10 now in that 32. Like I said, he was pushing that 14 of Vicente Guerrero. It worked out great for Vicente. He's in the lead here now, but unfortunately for BK, he's just going the wrong way right now. Again, still early, a lot of time left to go, but
right
when you're so close to being able to clear and get yourself up front there with a teammate, and then just nothing you can do is you just kind of continue to fall back spots. It's a really frustrating feeling to be at that point in the race here. So, but again, definitely don't expect to see BK down this far for long in this race. You can already see starting to kind of push back a little bit now, working with that 19 of Kevin LaChance, trying to get that momentum built back up. So, I think at some point here soon we'll probably start to see that 32 start to fight once again, right around the top 5 or so, pretty shortly.
I had a long talk with them last week after the race. As long as one of them win, it's a team win for the whole group. Vicente's a really nice guy, and BK is a real nice guy, and I really enjoyed their conversation. Speaking of that, look at BK Anderson on that outside. Here he comes back.
Yeah, but saying, we were just talking about, not even a lap later, he is working the top 5 once again here. It's like Kevin LaChance doing a really good job of keeping that line moving here forward. So now the question, of course, is there an opening at some point to try to poke yourself into, which obviously right now there's definitely no hole for these guys to find in here yet. But again, they still got probably another 5 or so laps before they absolutely really need to start pushing to get to that inside line. But I'm looking a little further back. These guys are starting to spread out a little bit more than I'd be comfortable with, like right around James Hickson. And you can see he's got a couple tenths from him to Kyle Power. And these guys are all really kind of just all shaken up behind him as well. So I think, again, this is where these guys really need to start building that momentum back up and start thinking about, okay, what's our strategy here for this race? Because at some point you're going to want to try to push back forward, I think, before those pit stops happen. But you're right, though, Matt. Here comes BK. He's working right outside the 25 car now, fighting to get back to that second position. Yeah,
they're a little bit unorganized at the moment, but I'm looking at that bottom line. They are more organized than that top line right now. Very tightly together till the second lane gets their act together. BK Anderson won't be taking the lead anytime soon.
Yeah, also close. Actually, it was a very close call, almost an incident. I should have said there between the 99 and I believe that was the 01. I'm trying to go through my running order. Yeah, I think it was the 01 there of Patrick Gruber. But yes, and you see he hops up there with them now too. And I say the more these cars lose that third lane, the slower that lane's gonna go. I see maybe an opening here for BK if he can jump in quick enough, but he can't quite do that. Hole fills up pretty quickly there with Peter DeBorgia. But yeah, he had just a small opening there, but I think just wasn't quite lined up to be able to get that spot there. But now here comes that third line once more, this time now being led by Dean Wilkinson with that 02 and 01 there right behind him, shoving him towards the front here.
If you want somebody pushing you, that's the dude. I'm one of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing is those guys are, yeah, you're right. I mean, these guys are very, very good pushers. And honestly, I mean, throughout the field, too, I mean, you could say we obviously haven't talked about him too much because I think he's just kind of doing his own strategy right now. But, I mean, you think about the 23 of Sebastian Marin, you know how good he is as a pusher as well. So there's JD Crow. I mean, there's been races where pretty much anybody that got in front of JD would find their way to the front. So there's a lot of options. We got a little off strategy here. Looks like the 12 going to hit pit road. James Hickson, he's going to bring the 07 Robert DuPont in with him. This is at lap number 21. Looked a little hot for James Hickson. I'm a little nervous about them. We'll see how it goes for him. But we're going back up front. It's just the two of them, but obviously they're working their own strategy here. Going to try to go a little bit off sequence, see if that maybe propels them.
Oh, Robert missed his stall by, oh my goodness.
And that's going to be tough for them to get hooked back up, but James Hickson, no penalty. He's back out already, about 11.7 second pit stop. As Dean Wilkinson, look at that, he gets the lead. He goes straight to that inside line. And then once again, here comes BK, though. He's saying now with all that momentum shaking up here, this has allowed him to get a good push back forward here as he's going to try to work that middle lane, see if he can get to the point.
Yeah, he's got Kevin LaChance push him. And Kevin looking for a nice little comeback than last week. He was definitely wants to improve his finish, what happened last week.
Yeah, no, definitely a tough one for him. And so, yeah, so we, like you're talking about, Matt, the 07 missing his pit stall. The leaders are just about to swing right on by him here as he's trying to build up speed. And he's multiple seconds behind his teammate as well, or whoever, his partner that he's working with there in that 12 car. So his option here is, his best chance here is just to try to find a way to slide up in line here and try to tag onto the back of these guys. I'll at least get him to draft back up there in that number 07, but you can see he's hesitant to do it because you don't know if they're going to drop to the bottom or where they're going to go. And now he's able to get back on track here. So let's jump back up front here because window's going to be opening very soon for these guys. And so again, you're going to see these guys trying to find a way to get to that inside line. But right now, like I said, Dean Wilkinson, just perfect timing to get to the front now, control the pace of this thing. Because you know nobody's going to want to risk getting trapped out on the outside. So I would say Dean pretty much timed that to perfection there.
Yeah, these guys got probably about 2 or 3 laps left on fuel, and we're 3 wide right here. We're going to have to sort things out here pretty soon. Whoa, got a little bobble by the 19 to Kevin LaChance in the middle. Yeah. Was able to hang on to that car.
We got a huge big wreck behind you. As the accordion effect, it looked like behind these guys all trying to hang on to it back there. You see Nick Manfredi still trying to chase. Oh, Rennie Miner gets a shot for him, and Jim Brooks peeking down underneath him. But it looks like Dale Willoughby got a little shot as well, including, looks like Cody Nagels. His bad luck continues. Jay Hilliard as well. And I think what we saw there, Matt, was just kind of that accordion effect you talked about with that 19 having a bobble. And I think everybody else behind them, that's where it all stacked up. So I'm going to start off with that 19 of Kevin LaChance, try to see where that all kicked off. And then we'll kind of keep going from there to see how it all happened there behind them. So let me go ahead and back this up a little bit here. Find that 19 of Kevin LaChance. There he is. Oh, yeah, you're right there. So you can see I already saw that bobble for just a split second. So we'll pick it back up here. And it looks like car just washes out from him. It looks like coming off of 2. And you're right, almost gets into the 0-2 there, and then you can see everybody starts to kind of react to that. You see the 26, he goes down to the apron to try to avoid So I'm going to look at Cody Nagels because it seemed like he got the worst end there. Yeah, it looks like he and Jack Walls may have gotten together. Oh, actually, Sebastian Marin gets a piece of it as well in that 23 car. You can see him drifting off to that inside line there. And that's where Dale Willoughby gets a piece of it as well, the 59 there. And then at that point, it's just pretty much all bets are off of who's going to get through it here. And yeah, unfortunately, a handful of cars here involved in this one.
James Hicks might come at the leader if he chooses to pit or not.
I was thinking that too. He had not gotten lapped there yet, so so we'll do here is we're gonna go ahead and we'll speed things back up here. We'll get back live because pit stops are about to occur. As Dean Wilkinson's going to lead the field here onto pit road. And saying this still gets them in their window, Matt. So this will still be one-stop race to the end from here for these guys. So not the worst timing of a yellow for these guys.
No, he's coming down.
It will be interesting to see if he maybe just takes a splash, though, because he might still be able to jump a bunch of these guys if he has a quick enough stop.
I think it just fuel only. Or if he took a two tire spot, he'll change his other two.
Dean's going to easily hold on to the lead there coming out of pit road. And it's going to be Vicente Guerrero, Brian Grimm, and Jackson Carr going to complete our top 5. And I'm saying always got to check on damage here. So you got Seth Gruber here still on pit road here. It's been about 30 seconds for him. Another longer pit stop was Gaetano Papalardo. He had about a 30-second stop. Patrick Gruber, he's up to about a minute so far in the pit. So some pretty significant damage to him as well. We mentioned Sebastian Marin taking that side shot as well. He's been sitting on pit road now for about 40 seconds as well. So definitely some drivers that took some pretty good hits there, and they're having to go ahead and use these getting repairs done to these cars under yellow, including Sebastian Marin, Cody Nagels, Seth Gruber, Jay Hilliard, and Patrick Gruber. See, there goes Jay Hilliard just now rolling out of pit road. So it's going to leave now just 4 more guys here trying to get damages done to their machines. And trying to see if Robert Dupont... No, it looks like Robert's going to stay trapped a lap down here, unfortunately. I thought he might get the wave around.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So maybe he got a little bit of damage out of that, because iRacing will not allow you to, once you get a little bit of an X or anything,
exactly,
it will not allow you to get your lap back. But that's pretty unfortunate for Robert. He probably have to wait for another yellow to... occur, probably just stay in the back. That would be my strategy.
Yeah, I think at this point, if you're not the wave around for Robert Dupont, I think you'd go ahead and you just come in here, you pit, you get some fuel, get tires, and then just like I said, just cruise at this point. Just try to have as much fuel as you can on the tank, save as much fuel as you can during the run, and like you said, Matt, just basically just try to make sure you stay out of any potential incidents here. So we'll keep an eye. Looks like Brian Wing's going to hit pro. He's going to stay out actually. But I say we got a handful of drivers coming in here. Brian Wing, Eric Laurie, JD Crow. And not a bad strategy in my opinion actually here, Matt, because again, those guys pitted at lap 25. Now topping off just a little bit more here gives them a little bit of leeway, of course. Maybe try to either go long on this stint to give you some room for a green-white checkered, where you don't have to go ahead and come in and top off at the end. Or of course the other option, maybe short pitting and putting just that little bit less fuel to make it to the end.
Yeah, Cody's sitting there trying to get repair damages to that car. That car is toast.
Yeah, well, I'd say the front's the critical thing, and I'm looking at Cody's right now. Yeah, he had about almost a 2-minute pit stop there, trying to get as much as he could repaired. Not sure if he got it all or not. Same thing actually for Patrick Gruber. He was at about a minute 40 as well. Seth a minute 35. So these guys very, very long pit stops, unfortunately, to try to get damages repaired. So hopefully it's enough for them to at least hang on to the draft. That's going to be, I think, job number 1 for these guys. But I say we're going to restart this thing, Matt. This time around, it's going to be starting lap number 28. So again, still plenty of racing to go here. So we'll see kind of what the strategies are going to be unfolding here as the run goes on. But a few movers, though, with everything going on. Brian Grimm, he's up into the 3rd in that number 40 car. And then from, looks like 17th position. And then Kevin LaChance from 20th to 6th right now. So say some bigger movers. Jack Walls, TJ Mashaw as well. Right now, I think our biggest mover is the 82 here of Dan Harrington, showing him at 23 positions gained so far.
I'm showing 27. That may be a glitch for me. I'm not sure.
It's 20-something. We know that.
But still, a great job by Daniel.
Yeah, still obviously a long, long ways to go. So yeah, right now we've got still 34 on the lead lap. And then Robert DuPont, the one driver that's off right now, a lap. But again, I think he just needs to play it smart here, keep it clean, and just try to see what he can do here. So we're going to head back to green again, starting lap number 28. And it's going to be the 55 Dean Wilkinson. And he's got a teammate right behind him, Matt. So this could be an opportunity for Dean to maybe try something a little different, go a little early. Maybe spreads the field out a little bit further behind him. Because, again, they don't have to control the whole race. But if they could have, let's say, maybe just that little bit of separation, maybe break the field apart. But it looks like they're going to wait till that green flag flies, and they do. So it's going to be Dean Wilkinson on the front row there. And right behind him, Brian Grimm's going to stay right locked onto that bumper, I believe, of that number 55.
If I was going to pick a dark horse, as taking your time right now, being smooth, methodically, staying out of trouble, is that number 7 of Dale Willoughby. I'll be keeping an eye on him toward as the laps wind down.
Yeah, I mean he'll definitely want to climb back up after his little bit of damage. Not too worried about Dean at this point, or not Dean. Sorry, as I was watching Dean. Not too worried about Dale here at this point. But yeah, the main question is, was he able to get all of his damage repairs done to that number 7 car? But pace-wise and everything like that, yeah. It's as long as that car's healthy, he's always going to be one to watch here. But right now, though, it's going to be Jackson Carr able to get that great push once again. BK Anderson looks like he's kind of Mr. Pusher here so far tonight. It's like, it always seems like every race there's one driver that's been like the person to push. And it seems like right now it's been BK, kind of just whoever's been in front of him has been getting a really great push from that number 32.
Yeah, I'm watching him and Jackson Carr, and making good headway.
Yeah, not quite enough yet to get around that 14 and 55, but again, I say the inside line, of course, always prevails a little bit through the turns, and then that's where the outside momentum starts to shift back towards that number 097. So right here at the line, you can see it's going to be close between the two of them. And right now, it looks like just pretty much double wide here for about 6 or 7 rows here, and then pretty much singles out right around the 25 and the 5 of Brian Wang, JD Crow. I say these guys just rolling just a little bit back here. Yeah, I think just kind of playing it cautious here. And actually some good insight here. So that may be when we saw earlier, Patrick Groover in the 01 had a throttle issue, and so had to try to get that resolved. So mom's giving him some insights. So definitely appreciate that. So yeah, hopefully the throttle issue has been resolved. And yeah, this is definitely a track where you're gonna need that throttle pedal. So or the way this track is, might as well just find a way to make it work, put a brick on it, and then just do the rest yourself.
Yeah, I'll get out the WD-40. If you got V3 pedals like I do, it's always handy.
Yeah, I definitely got some squeaky pedal syndrome. I got to work on my car or my pedals as well at some point. I haven't got to it yet, but definitely need to. And look at Dean here.
Looks like we see Dean Wilkinson drop straight to the back here.
Yeah, Dean's had his fun. He said, all right, you guys go on ahead here. I'm gonna swing on back down here. So again, now he's gonna find a hole here to sneak into. He sees a potential opening, and again, you can see Michael Spell there, Eric Laurie all jumping up to the middle lane, giving him room to sneak back up there. Because it gets real dicey if you try to keep that inside lane covered. So you see Jim Brooks, he tags right back onto the back of that 55. So they definitely will not lose the draft here. But Dean definitely was like, all right, maybe getting a little too spicy for my taste at this point. So he backs it down. But we definitely haven't seen the last of that number 55.
No, we won't. We'll see him back up toward the front as the laps wind down.
And so, Matt, we talked a little bit about, for Robert DuPont, just taking it easy, right?
Right.
Where do you think he is?
Mid-pack.
In the middle of a 3-wide? Yeah, in the middle of a 3-wide.
Yeah, just my personal opinion, just coming from me as a racer. For me, I would not jeopardize my car and my chance to get a lap back, because like I said, you get any kind of X, you will not get your lap back. So, the trends we've been seeing here the last couple of races here at Air 51 Superspeedway, usually the caution would come out at least about 10 laps to go, at least. So he will definitely have his chance to get this lap back. But, that's just my personal
Yeah,
perspective.
no, I'd be probably doing the same as you, Matt. However, I'll say, as you were talking about, I was thinking about it too. And if we get to green flag pit stop section of this race, that's a point where you need to actually be towards the front, because we've seen a lot of times where some will get lapped and they'll pick up the main draft, and so they'll wind up kind of merging in with the draft ahead of these guys that might be just cruising. So actually for the 07, I mean, obviously it's not really a valid point right now, but at some point, once pit stops start to happen again, once we get close to lap number 50, I could see that coming into play. So, but right now, I think it's also just these guys. I mean, they're just, you can't turn it off. You're gonna race, and that's exactly
these guys
what
are
he's
animals. So I was watching Donald Stewart getting pushed by the Gruber brothers, and somebody jumped up to the outside. I can't make sure
Dan
who that
Harrington.
was.
He enjoyed what he saw there. He said, "Yeah, I'll join up with you guys." And so now he's going to be the one to try to lead this outside lane. But like I said, let's say probably by the time I switch over to him, we're going to see another driver jump up. Actually, I see the 46 decided he's had enough. He's going to roll back a little bit as well. That's Derek Gilroy. He's going to try to keep himself out of harm's way here as well, because they are
getting a little bit tense up there.
Yeah.
I'm watching that Napa car up there. Yeah, be careful up there, exiting the corner up there.
Yeah, again, it's so easy. It's like you're trying to stay dead focused to those guys up in front of you that you might lose a little bit of kind of your peripheral, and say catch that little bit of an apron, kind of drift up a little bit. It's always so easy to make these little teeny tiny mistakes right now. But what has happened though is I think that outside line's kind of fizzled out, honestly. But also though, the Grubers though, they got separated there. You see the 01, he's down in the middle, and actually as I say that now, Patrick's able to pick up as well. Or sorry, Seth was able to pick up Patrick on that middle lane. So I have a feeling if and when the middle lane, if they can clear that third lane, I think we'll see them drop to that inside. But as soon as I say that, he jumps right back to the top.
Hey, Gael, got a question for you. I'm watching the 23 car where he's at right now. It's quite interesting what's going on here. How he ended up back there. He is all the way back up.
Oh yeah.
I think he's entering turn 4 right now.
Yeah, he's a solid half lap down here. He's with the 06 and with the 59 here. Jay Hilliard, Cody Nagels, and trying to see, everything looks right for when he pitted. So yeah, we've missed something there big for Sebastian Marin, or just maybe that amount of damage he had wasn't enough to keep up with the main pack. Not 100% sure, but yeah, unfortunately, I definitely missed something there for Sebastian. So again, I mean, still a lot of racing to go. So I mean, a caution will bring him right back into the thick of this thing. But at the moment, though, I mean, that's definitely a pretty big development there, because yeah, there's the three of them kind of just working together the best they can. But yeah, they're definitely going to be a tough spot here.
Yeah, for some reason, iRacing is not picking him up for me. As soon as the green flag failed, he just went straight to the back.
I'll see if I can pick something up on my side here. I'm gonna do a little bit of searching real quick. Yeah, I'm not able to grab anything easy here, unfortunately.
Yeah, me neither. Like I said, it was probably a little bit of a connection issue.
Yeah, that is also a very possible thing. So, I'll say if we'll see, maybe anybody that's part of that team maybe chimes in and can let us know too. We'll definitely relay it over to you guys. But like I said, that is a pretty big development there. Obviously, one of our perennial front runners there. And honestly, I mean, think about Cody Nagels, Jay Hilliard too. I mean, those guys have been pretty much up front most of the time that they've been in these races too. So just the luck has not been in their favor so far. However, up front though, it's still been Jackson Carr here, BK Anderson, Vicente Guerrero. They've been pretty much controlling this lead pack here for the most part of this run. But once again, I say you expect it at some point in the race. That
Yep.
third lane's going to form, and that's once again going to be those Groover brothers here trying to work that third lane.
And they were making very good headway last lap there. They kind of stalled out up here at the top lane.
And I was saying this time by we just crossed the halfway point in this one, so we've got 37 laps to go. As you can see, they've picked up Peter DeBorgia there on the outside too. I think I've been mixing up Peter there in the 26 with that number 02 car because they kind of got that black and the teal blue colors, and so I was kind of mixing those guys up a little bit here at one point I think in the race. So I'll have to keep an eye a little better of which one's which there, but like I said, right now those three are working that third lane together, and it seems like that's really slowed down that middle lane because I mean look how far back the BK has dropped. That's allowed Jack Walls now to pop up into that second groove here. He's going to see what he can do. But before he has a chance of ascent, he's going to go right back up front.
Like a big shout out to the 04 of Chummy Miller. Running there in the top 5 here. Being patient, biding his time, running really well at the moment.
Yeah, third car in that inside line. And honestly, that's one of my preferred places to be if I'm trying to like be up front and kind of be in a good spot. That's a really good spot to be in because you don't have to worry about being the pusher. Just got to stay kind of tight to the guy, and then but still being that third car in lane here, you can usually save a lot of fuel as well. So right now Chummy's in a pretty good spot there. He's got, you mentioned too, that 99 Kyle Power right behind him as well. And of course back up front here though, here we go once more, Matt. Same verse, different lap here, 3x3. Looks like about 3 rows deep, about to be 4 rows deep. Dean's trying to join the party there as well in that 55. We talked about Dean rolling back. He decided he got his breather and he's ready to go have some more fun.
Yeah, things are really heating up here at the front. Whoa, a big checkup by the 04.
Yeah, looks like everybody's holding on so far, so good. And so also seeing peeking into the picture, haven't really talked about him either, is the 91 of Dustin Lamb. He's starting to work that third lane as well, trying to get up top there behind those three. Dean was looking there, but I think Dustin saw the momentum. He's decided, you know what, I'm going to try to get up there before you get a chance to. So say Dustin, another one of those high climbers right now, plus 20 for him up into that 12th position currently. But again, like I said, still lots of racing to go. We mentioned also Donald Stewart there just a little bit earlier as well. He's sitting right there, right around that top 10, top 12 position as well. So yes, I mean, a lot of these guys have been pretty much in the mix here. I'll say there's been a lot of guys that we know, Matt, aren't showing their full hand yet. So I'm looking right behind there, like I said, that 25, the 5, the 33, the 071. Like, you know, those guys are gonna at some point make their voices heard, but they decided that it's just not quite time, especially when you see what they're doing up front here. Again, that little bit of bobbles that these guys got going on right now.
I'm trying to see if where the 23 is compared to the leaders.
They're in a tough spot, man. They're about 2 seconds back there, or 2 seconds a lap slower than last time. I was a 52.83 to 50.34. So actually 2.5 seconds almost. As they enter turn number 1, the leaders are in the middle of the tri-oval, so say they're pretty much a full backstretch or away from getting lapped at this point. So the one thing they may have in their favors, I think basically once the time the leaders get to them, the pit stop window should just about to open. But again, these guys being so racy right now, it may not even get to that point. So they just need to basically just kind of focus on them and just keep pushing as hard as they can in order to try to hold on to this track position and so just try to keep from going that lap down, just try to maximize their lap times.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. Hopefully, like you said, hopefully we can get some insider info. I'm quite curious. He does have some front damage to that car. Maybe electing not to take that fast repair would cost him the race here.
Yeah, it is possible to say, or that maybe that nose damage was from a checkup on the restart, things like that. There's just so many potentials, but yeah, right now these guys are definitely getting pretty dicey. So we're gonna pop back. We're gonna watch from the 60 of Joseph Morales here because he's one of those ones that's just hanging back from these guys, and so he's got a pretty good view of what's going on here, and you can see right now. Right behind the 19 of Kevin LaChance. I think he's trying to just peek out just a little bit every so often, just trying to get a good view of what's going on in front of him. Because I say if he's anything like me, I'm at this point in the race, I'm almost riding with my foot just sitting on that brake pedal, just ready to stab it to try to woe down that car in case I got to do some dodging.
Yeah, I totally 100% feel you on that one. But these guys sitting there buying their time, just saving fuel. That probably wanted to start making their way up toward the front, so we're about maybe 6 to 9 laps away from a pit stop.
Yeah, pit stop window is going to be, like I said, the window officially probably will be opening in about the next 4 or 5 laps, I would say. Again, these guys usually able to go about 27 or so on fuel. But I think these guys will probably wait till at least lap number 50 to try to pit in with about 25 to go. So I do think at some point we're going to start to see a little bit more aggression and get to that inside line. But right now, I mean, there's only 6 in the middle lane, 2 on the outside, so we've got a pretty solid train, honestly, working that inside lane right now. So I think a lot of these guys have kind of just gotten content with where they want to sit here. But like I said, though, if I'm back about where Quabi Brooks, Michael Spell, and those guys are, Eric Laurie, I'm giving it a few more laps, and I want to start making a big push to get towards the front before I make that last pit stop. Because like we said on that first stint, there's just too much to lose, I feel like, with you sitting about 2+ seconds back of these guys.
As you look ahead, you can see a couple cars about getting ready to get lapped here.
Yeah, it's not too far away from happening, unfortunately, for those guys. Saying this is where you're rooting. If you're those 3, like, all right, guys, this would be a perfect time for someone to make a mistake and kind of wad all these guys up here. But right now, it hasn't happened. But remember what I talked about earlier, Matt, about that 07 of Robert DuPont. Right now, he's about the 5th car in that inside lane here. And again, if they lap these guys, that's going to be an opportunity for Robert where he might have not got that lucky dog position if we do get that yellow. So that's, I think, why he's opted to stay aggressive and try to keep up towards the front half of this group. So this strategy, this aggression from that 07 might actually be exactly what he needs to have happen here.
Yeah, I see people getting away from that 3-wide situation, getting ready for the cars.
Yeah, and that's another good call too, is if you're catching that group of cars a lap down, is to try to go ahead and get double wide here at Talladega, of course, to be able to give that lap group lane to go to the top and avoid forcing because usually if they are 3x3, you'll see those guys go to the apron. And again, these guys have a lot to race for still, so they don't want to have to run the apron if they don't have to. But I am seeing everybody start to try to find their way to get into that bottom lane for pit stops. I just saw the 02 do it. Now he's going to open the door for the 01. And yeah, so now we've only got about 4 cars now in that middle lane here. There goes that 3rd line up top.
I see your cars making their way, getting ready for pit stops here.
Yeah, I think it's a combo of pit stops and then also trying to make sure that they give room to these 3 cars that are putting a lap down. Obviously, the big story is Sebastian Marini, and saying this is Sebastian making some strategy here. He's going to try to tag onto that middle group.
The 99 backed off to the, it looks like the apron racetrack. Nope. My bad. They checked out pretty damn hard.
But yeah, I mean, so now actually it's a great move by Sebastian Marin here, Matt, because actually as they run now, he's still sitting at that lucky dog position because he was able to pick up the momentum, go into that middle lane, and stay ahead of the 07 Robert DuPont. So a great call by Sebastian there to try to go immediately drop to that middle lane to be able to pick up that draft and not lose too much track position. So that's a good move by him. As right now it's been Jack Walls and you say BK Anderson. He's kind of been the yo-yo of this race, just kind of pushing up and then falls back, then pushes back up. And remember a few laps ago, Matt, I talked about those guys further back needing to make their move. I see the 3rd lane here, Quabi Brooks, Michael Spell, Jim Brooks is in there as well. I think also the 26, if I'm not mistaken, or sorry, 29 of Nick Monfredi, I think I see in there as well. So I think they're doing exactly what I just talked about. Need to make that charge here before our first set of, our green flag pit stops potentially open up here. As we're going to cross line this time around here, Matt. We're going to start lap number 50. So I think we're going to start to see those floodgates open up here very, very soon.
Yep, I'm getting to see the whole family. Here they come.
Yep. And say out of nowhere here, Matt, Dan Harrington to the point in that number 82. I was while we were looking at that, I say Dan and BK, they found themselves up to 1-2 there. So they did a really good job pushing that middle lane there. So Again, we talked about some of those guys, those big movers, and now Dan leading the way in that number 82 machine here. So I say this is great timing for him again, because pit stop's going to be coming very soon, so he might be able to be the one to lead these guys onto pit road. So just try to get every little advantage you can here. Oh, it's lonely for Kevin LaChance. He's going to hit pit road, but nobody's going with him, surprisingly here, Matt. So
very surprised.
Yeah, and I'm saying actually looks like took it nice and easy there, so probably no speeding penalty there for him. However, though, he's going to be on his own, no drafting help for at least that warm or up to speed lap. So that's going to be something we'll have to keep an eye on. But might be, again, we never know. Say if there's a big incident here, he could be the one sitting pretty to cycle out to the front. So, but right now, say he's got Sebastian Marin trying to unlap himself the hard way with that 101 here. Randy Minor doing everything he can to push him to the front.
That is pretty incredible. Right now, he is sitting at the lucky dog, which 07. If I was the 07, I would pit right with him when he starts making his pit stop.
Yeah, so we got a big group of coming to pit road now here. So we're trying to jump back and pick up who's all hitting pit road there.
Yeah, BK Anderson.
BK, Jackson Vicente, Brian Grimm, Chummy Miller, Gaetano Papalardo, TJ Mashaw, Eric Lurie, and Derek Gilray. Also Cody Nagels and Robert DuPont also hitting pit road with them. However, up front, Sebastian Marin, he did find his way to the front there, Matt. So he's going to right now be the tail end of the lead lap in that 23 car. But I think pit stops are going to be happening very soon. These guys are all getting pretty aggressive here, trying to find an opening to slot into the pits.
Yeah, I just watched the 06 use his fast repair, which is probably a smart move.
So I think we're going to see a handful of drivers hit pit road. I think the 101's trying to find a way to slot in. He is. He's going to go right across the front of Jack Walls, though. He's going to hit the inside wall there. Also, I think the 02 and the 01 both hit, and then contact with the 99. And that's just gone all sorts of wrong for those guys. And I was a little worried about that. Yeah, I say, well, it's on pit road, so yeah, it won't throw the yellow there. I was a little nervous about that. And also you see, the 82 of Dan Harrington, he's also involved in this as well in that pit road. So that just everything went wrong there. So what this is doing now is, let's say, again, this third group here, they're going to go just that one extra lap, now being led by JD Crow. I haven't said that name, I don't think, much tonight. Todd Siebels as well. These guys are going to stretch it just that little bit further. But right now, that odd man out trying to find a hole here is that 7 of Dale Willoughby. And although Brian Wing, he's going to poke up top here. These guys look like they want to go one more lap if they can.
Right now, I'm watching BK Anderson.
Here comes Sebastian. He's like, there's never been a more aggressive pit road entry driver than Sebastian, as these guys are 3x3. But now here's the problem, though. You got to make sure you've got room to get to the bottom, and these guys got to make sure they don't step on each other's toes. And I said, you still got a couple of these guys 2x2. I'm watching Quabi. Maybe a little bit of contact with the 5 there, and that's where things get very dangerous right on that pit entry.
Very aggressive pit road.
So far, it looks like everybody's pretty much coming out all together here. There goes Sebastian. He looks like he's going to lead them on out. And then it's going to be Brian Wing. And then looks like they're trying to sneak in together. There's the 45. He hops in between the 25 and the 26 cars. But it looks like overall these guys are all pretty close together. Jack Wall's just not even a couple tenths back there. However, here they come, being led by, once again, BK Anderson. He's been a little bit of everything here tonight. And so I don't think they're going to clear these guys. They're going to give themselves a little bit of breathing space. But at the moment, though, it's going to be that 32 here that's going to take over the point. And look who's sitting in second spot right there, Matt. Again, tail end, or first car one down now, once again, after all this cycles through, is Robert DuPont in that 07.
Yeah, I think Jackson Carr kind of wants to kick out that 07. Hopefully somebody will go with him. Yep, and I
Grimm,
see a taker. I see Brian Grimm jumped up to the outside with him.
But this is, I think, if right now, if you're that 07 car, you stay exactly where you are at the moment. But I say it won't take long, because look at that 23. Here he comes with the 25. I say this is going to be as aggressive of a lucky dog battles we've seen for a long time, because again, you just don't know if and when a yellow is going to fly. And look at Sebastian Marin. He's going to go from the bottom to the middle to the top with that 25, just completely locked on that rear bumper. See if they can get themselves back on the lead lap, or I should say just get the 23 in the lead lap.
Whoa! Look at that top line go.
As I don't know if he's had enough. Yeah, he can't quite clear Jackson, so they're going to stay 3x3. But this is where they had the momentum. But I think this is where it's going to maybe start to bounce back a little bit. Although look at that though, the middle lane there, the 31-33, they abandoned that middle lane. They jumped to the top side, and so now it's only 2 cars on that second groove. Whereas pretty much you got the whole group there on the inside or the outside. So that's exactly what Sebastian needs to have happen here to try to get back on that lead lap.
Yep. 2 of those drivers are both in the same chat channel.
Yeah, and say looking a little bit further back, it looks like Quavi, Jim, and Michael have all also tagged on. So basically, we got 17 drivers in this lead pack that are on the lead lap. You got to go about 4.5 seconds back to the second pack being led by Eric Laurie. And saying you got some drivers like Derek Gilleray's in there, Chummy Miller, Joseph Morales, Dean Wilkinson's unfortunately caught up in that group as well. So I think that's that pit stop where all those guys got kind of all bottled up with one another, and that's what's cost them so much time there on that pit stop cycle. So we're going to jump back up front here, though, because it's Jackson Carr that's found his way to the point. And look at that 5 there of JD Crow. He's actually popped up and tried to pick up Sebastian Mayer and see if he can get that shove to get himself possibly to the front.
Very smart move. It looks like he can probably sneak down toward the middle. Nope, that door is already closed.
Yeah, Brian Grimm was, I mean, obviously Brian's got his foot to the floor this whole time, but yeah, it's just all about when you get those pushes at the right time. And the other thing they got to be careful about is they've got a car coming up here. Oh, big move by Brian Grimm to the bottom. And as soon as he did that, the JD Crow, he went to the middle there. And that's once again going to allow that 23 to try to lead that outside lane once more. But yeah, they're coming up on that 82 car, though, pretty quickly here of Dan Harrington. Again, I mean, talk about the turn of fortunes there, leading that group during pit stops, and then just everything going wrong there on that pit stop for a lot of those drivers. And unfortunately, it looks like he's going to go at risk of being put a lap down here. And this is a dangerous spot here. He's going to go straight to the apron.
Wise
really good
Daniel.
move there. But the hope is he could tag onto the draft here, but I think he's just going to lose too much momentum having to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for him running up front. And
Great sportsmanship, though.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate circumstances. I've been there. It's all about keeping the race green and clean.
Yeah, it is a tough pill to swallow. I will definitely admit to that. Or it's like you're just like, man, if not for this, I'd be in that pack going after it for these guys. So. But right now, say it's actually been Brian Grimm here leading that inside row. Jackson Carr being the pusher here. He's been able to lead these last couple laps here. JD Krogan, he's getting close there, but right now just hasn't quite got enough to kind of push all the way through. But again, still plenty of time to go here, Matt. We got 17 to go. We know they're good to go to field to the scheduled distance. And looking at when they last pitted, they're pitting at the range is pretty much 51 to 53. Just really, at that point, really depends on how much fuel these guys put in their tanks if they can make it all the way. But I'm looking at lap times, and so far, I'm trying to look at that second group, and they're pretty even on lap time. So right now, it looks like it's still pretty even about that 5 or so second gap between that first and second pack.
Well, we pretty much got the tail of 2 races this year. You got the 0723 racing for the Lucky Dog, and we pretty much got the race for the lead here. That hole keeps getting bigger and bigger for Robert DuPont because every time someone comes up, they take that bottom groove and then it stacks on another car and it gets further and further backward towards Sebastian Mayer.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's like Robert now has fallen to about the 5th car back on that inside line. However, the one thing that he might still have going for him is, again, if there's an incident, again, you never want to be that guy, but man, Sebastian's in a pretty vulnerable position being that first car on that outside lane, because if anybody bumps wrong a little bit below him, they're going to wash up right up across the path of that 23 car. So not feeling the most confident still with that. So Sebastian wants to be right where that 26 or the 5 cars are right now, kind of being able to jump back and forth from the bottom to the middle lanes, but I say for everything that Brian has been able to try to push him in that 25, it just hasn't quite been enough yet. And the other thing I'm watching now, look at these 4 in the back here saying, yeah, you guys go ahead, you fight this out 3x3. We're going to watch here, and then you let us know when things settle in or when it's really time to go. You got Quabi Brooks, Todd Siebels, the guy you were talking about earlier, Dale Willoughby's right there as well, and then Jim Brooks. These guys are just they're just giving each other plenty of space. Make sure they hold
Wait
the
for something
draft.
to happen.
But yeah, just waiting for that pin to drop, basically.
So far, they've been holding their own up there. As you know, the heat, as you say, it will pick up.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to start to get a little more aggressive. The pushes will become harder. They'll become more frequent. Say they'll push a little longer, risk those temperatures a little bit more, and then even the side drafting, they'll start to squeeze one another a little bit more, and that's when those little mistakes start to add up a little bit more because you just don't have that. You don't have that extra maybe foot or two of buffer room that you may have had earlier. Then that's where things really start to kick off. So I don't think we're at that point yet. We still got 14 to go, but I think once they hear their spotters all tell them, hey, 10 to go, that's when these guys all kind of ratchet up just that little bit extra.
I'm kind of riding along with Todd Siebel's here. He's got a nice front row view of something happens, he can avoid it.
Say, well, let's go ahead and let's let everybody else watch from the top Siebel's cam there with that number 45 Ford Mustang. And yeah, you're right. So he's just in a nice little pocket here. So he obviously, he can trust the guys around him with Dale Willoughby, Jim Brooks, and of course they also have room where if they need to jump left or jump right to start getting on the brakes, they can, because they also know they got about 6 seconds behind them. They've got room to slow down extra if they need to also. So it's definitely a great play here because you just right now, I mean, if you throw yourself into that mix, you don't really have anywhere to go. So I do like what these guys are doing here. Just play it safe. Just wait till it's really time to go after something.
We do have a lapper coming.
I'll say they're coming up on Jason Middleton here, though, so we'll hop back up front here. I'll say Jason, I think, actually numerous laps down here. I don't suspect we'll see anything but him dropping down to the apron. I say probably trying to get some laps in that car, whatever caused him to miss a start, unfortunately. But yeah, like you said, Matt, there he goes straight to the apron there. But look at that push from the 01. That's shoved Peter DeBorgia now to the front in that Extra Life Chevrolet. So great move by them. But again, once again, here comes that middle lane, or the inside lane, I should say, surging once more there with JD Crow there.
Yeah, things are starting to get a little bit dicey as we get down toward 11 to go here.
Yeah, exactly right. It'll be 11 to go at the line. And it's just that ebb and flow we talk about week after week, Matt. Right now it's the 26 and the 5 car in that middle and inside lanes. But then at some point we're going to see the 23 probably have another surge as well on the outside. But again, that's the crazy part about this is right now that 23, he's not battling for the lead here. He's just trying to get back on the lead lap if there's a yellow. And if there was one right now, he would just have his nose ahead in order to be that tail end of the lead lap instead of a lucky dog position. And as they squeeze each other, it becomes all the more likely there as they head back into one here, 11 to go. And that's going to be the next question, Matt, is again, teammate behind him there with that 25 of Brian Wing. Is there an opportunity at some point if you're that 23 car, if let's say you get down to just a couple laps to go and you say, maybe even get it to the white, say, all right, you know what? At this point, I got to let you try to race it out. Does he try to find a way to get out of the way, or can you even get out of the way? Because, again, I mean, these guys are running 3x3. There's not really anywhere to go. So right now we're coming across here, 10 to go. Let's say we talked about that's when they're going to hear their spotters tell them. I think that's going to say psychologically realizing it or not. I think these guys are just going to get up on the wheel just that little bit more here. So we'll have to keep an eye again. Right now it's been pretty much bouncing between JD Crow, Peter DeBorgia. So we'll see. And yeah, you're not wrong there for Todd to say it's about time for him to figure out what he wants to do and where. But the problem is just that is where do you go?
Yeah, you're going to have to pretty much make your own hole because these guys got all their bases covered right now.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in is if you're in that pack right here. I mean, I'm looking at look at Michael Spell, right, stuck in the middle of 4 cars deep on that middle groove. You're in the thick of it here to try to win this race, but there's just you've got, let's say you got the Taco Bell car there, you got McDonald's right in front of you, and then you got NOS Energy in front of him. So it's like, yeah, it's like, all right, cool, I'm in the main pack here. I have a chance to win this race. I'm in a traffic jam. I can't go anywhere here, man.
If I was the 01, I think he's just biding his time and just waiting that most perfect opportunity to give him a nice little push up toward the front.
You saw Brian Grimm there peeking out there. It wasn't trying to make a pass. He's just trying to cool off that car a little bit. Maybe it was starting to get a little bit hot. Again, it's not something we can see, unfortunately, but those guys, they're going to see those gauges. They're going to be flashing at them when that oil water temps start to get too high. So you know that's going to be in the back of these guys' minds too as well. We've seen some races where I think we had a race where 2 drivers blew their motors just getting too hot. So right now, I mean, like I said, JD Crew and Peter DeBorgia, I love where these guys are sitting right now because it's just been kind of, again, that back and forth between the two of them. And especially, I mean, right now, if he can keep those groovers behind him, I think that's Peter's best chance here to try to grab a win for himself here tonight.
Yeah, that second groove, they're just sitting there being patient, buying their time. Just ready to pounce. Yep, here they go. Here's that nice little run you talked about.
Yeah, but I think Peter, though, I think he knows. I think this is a brilliant ploy by him right now in that 26 where he just needs to stay next to that number 5 car. I don't think if he passes, I don't think he wants to jump inside Matt. I think his best chance to win is to keep Seth and Patrick behind him, stay in that middle lane, because right now you only have to worry about that car inside of you. You only have to worry about that 5 of JD Crow. If the 23 gets outside of you and gets a nose ahead of you, it doesn't matter. He's a lap down right now. So honestly, I feel like advantage goes to that number 26 right now, but he's got to be careful not to fall too far back because Brian Grimm just had an opportunity there to try to peek up in front and lead that middle groove.
So far, so good.
So we're getting down to it here, Matt. At the line here, we're going to be at 6 laps to go. As again, you can see these guys they're trying to find somewhere to go. You see Dale Willoughby, he's jumped to the 3rd lane in that Michelob Ultra car. Quabi Brooks, he's run to the inside lane here right behind Robert DuPont. Again, I think the 45 and the 51, Jim Brooks, Todd Siebels, they're just, at this point, it's like, you know what? If we join in on this one, I mean, we're just going to drive into the wreck. So do I want to finish 16th, 17th? No, but if something happens, we might be looking like geniuses right here.
Yeah, if I was him, I would think about points.
But here's the other thing, Matt. Not too far away here. These guys are coming up on a group of cars being led by Kevin LaChance. I think it's got Kevin.
Whoa, God!
It won't matter. Contact, and we are around. Yellow is out. Now we talked about those guys. Oh, 5 car catches the wall. Oh, Jim Brooks and Todd Siebels, I think, just sneak around him. And now they got the cars coming behind.
Yeah, that was a big shove by Patrick Gruber, and he's trying to force his way onto the bottom, and that did not work out, and it caused a huge wreck. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for some of those guys.
We'll take a look at it here. We're going to jump over to the 01 of Patrick Gruber. So we're going to take, like I said, that 26 had a big push up in front, and then let's take a look, and yeah, just wasn't quite clear of that 5 car. Not sure if that was a move down or if that was just him reacting, worried about trying to spin the 26 car. But then, unfortunately, in front of the pack, I mean, look at these guys all just trying to squeeze past one another here. Unfortunately, Robert DuPont, we talked about him trying to get that lucky dog. He's involved as well. The 7, the 14 get a piece here as well. Say, trying to watch Quabi Brooks. You see him down on the apron, trying to see if he can avoid it. Not sure if he does or not. Looks like he just misses there. Look at BK Anderson here, pardon the seas here with these cars sliding around. And then things get real wild. They're just behind them with Jim Brooks and Todd Siebels. They're just, because you don't expect to see a car flung backwards at you. And unfortunately, that was exactly what happened with that number, what was it? The number 5. So yeah, pretty wild there. So what this does, Matt, is I believe this may throw us right back into that green-white checkered territory. As you see, JD Crow is under power here, though. However, it's going to put Peter DeBorgia to our race lead. And Sebastian Marin, he's been trying. He's now going to get that lap back there. Downside, he's going to be behind all of those guys on this restart. But we'll see what's going to happen here. We got a lot of drivers hitting pit road right now. We've got Brian Grimm just came on out there. TJ Mashaw, Vicente Guerrero, JD Crow's hitting pit road now. They got Kyle Power and James Hickson. And so we remember talking about the 45 of Todd Siebel's. He's now up into the top 10 here in that 45. And then trying to see where Jim Brooks was in all of this. Looks like he's a few cars behind there. Actually, looks like he may have pitted. No, he did not pit. I'm sorry. Looks like one of the last cars that did not pit there. I think with him having to avoid some of that incident may have cost him a few spots from some of those guys further back. But who that saves, though, Matt? We're just talking about them about to get lapped there. Kevin LeChance, Bob Fitzgerald, and those guys. Gives them a whole new lease on this race here because now they don't have to start in the back here. They can just go straight up after this thing. And yeah, we're going to be, I believe I said, I think this will either be official or unofficial green, white, checkered here on this one. Just from the timing of when that yellow flew. I'm not 100% sure on that one.
If we do get the 2 to go here, I think it would just be a one-lap shootout, maybe possibly.
No, it'll always extend to a green, white, checkered. Right now it's sitting at 4 to go. But I think the yellow came out. I'm trying to think what lap the yellow officially came out at. So I'm a little bit off there. I apologize.
70.
Okay. So yes, I think this will formally be green, white, checkered. For attempt number 1. So we'll see. Hopefully it won't matter. Hopefully we'll just get it done on this first attempt here, be it unofficial or official green, white, checkered. But we'll see those. We're going to see the lights go off on the pace car here at start finish line, bring it at 3 to go, and then we will restart this thing with 2 laps remaining. And so now we got to start looking at drivers and who is where with one another. Oh, surprise here. Jackson Carr hitting pit road there, Matt. He was sitting in 7th position here. Patrick Groover as well looks like also coming in. Not something I would have expected, especially from Jackson. He was sitting just outside the top 5 there. Must have been really tight on fuel or wants maybe to get ahead of it and say, you know what, I'm going to put fuel in now. That way, if we get another green, white, checkered or 2, I'm in a good spot here, and they have to pit, and I can leapfrog in front of those guys. So didn't expect to see that coming, but that does shake things up a little bit here. But the ones I'm watching, though, I believe that 26, 25, I believe they share a Discord together, so I suspect we'll see them stay lockstep with one another. And this is where Seth Groover, again, he's got to start doing some sales pitching here. But I'm looking behind, man, I look behind the 02 car, and he's going to be in a tough spot here. He's got the 88, the 83, and the 53 all lined up together there. And I could easily see those guys all trying to work together here to try to grab themselves the best result that they can. So I'll say Seth could be in a bit of a tight spot here.
Well, if I was the 88, I would try to push the 02 toward the lead, and hopefully Jack Walls can give a nice little push. Hopefully get Michael Spell a great finish here, but we'll see.
Everybody's going to be going for every inch that they can here. So you see all the way hiding in the back. There's that podium Toyota there of that 23 of Sebastian Mayer. So I'll have to keep an eye out for Sebastian, see what he can do here. But he's going to need a little bit of help, I think, probably with at least an attempt or 2 to have any chance of getting a good result for himself. Again, look at some of the drivers that are jumped back into the mix here. Derek Gilleray, we talked about him kind of just cruising earlier on. And then unfortunately lost that lead pack. He's right into it now, back in the top 10 as well. Gaetano's right back into this thing as well in that 31. So it's anybody's guess on this one. I see the 60 of Joseph Morales right there sitting in 13th. So it's going to be interesting to say these guys are going to have to find their dancing partners here very quick here as the pace car is just about to head on off. But like I said, I don't think we're going to see Peter and Brian pretty much separate from each other's bumpers during this last chance if they get the opportunity. It's going to be, I think, them versus the world right here on this green, white, checkered.
Yeah. Does he go early? Does he go late? We'll find out.
I think they wait till the green flies, keep everybody as bunched up together because you don't want to get these guys having a big momentum shift on you. And that's exactly what they do. Green flag is out, and we are back underway here. Attempt number 1 of the green, white, checkered. That's 25-26 on the inside lane, the 02 and the 88 on that middle lane.
This ain't an official green, white, checker. But you look at that bottom line, they're all really tightly together.
They're very big wreck in the back. We're going to be going to another attempt here. And, Sebastian Marin caught up in that one as well. The 12 is in it. The 5 is in it. Looks like the 97 may have just gotten around. We'll have to double check for him. Looks like JD Crow has to take a tow there. But man,
Oh, and our points leader got involved too.
I'll see what happened there, because that's an odd spot for that one to happen here. Let's go back once more. Try to see if we can find out where it all officially took place at. Oh, I think I see it right now. I'm looking at the 5 of JD Crow here, Matt, and it looks like looks like I should contact already occurred. I think it's the 99 and the 5. Actually, the 14 maybe too. They all were kind of just fighting for real estate, it looks like, Matt. As you can see, the 14 kind of running in the middle. You can see the 14 and the 5 pretty tight together there. And I think that little bit of a bobble, and then you see the 99, he tries to cut underneath, and I think just a little bit of right front to left rear contact. But then unfortunately, the one who gets the worst out of that is the 12 car. Nothing James Hickson can do. He takes one of the worst shots of all of these guys on it. Cody Nagels, bad night, gone worse again for him. He gets a piece. Sebastian Marion looks like he gets a little bit of a shot as well. And then for good measure, gets a little bit more. But yeah, Cody Nagels, once again, he had pitted there under that yellow, but it looks, or not Cody Nagels, I'm sorry, Jackson Carr, he had pitted under that yellow here, but I think he's going to be able to get through this one unscathed, so he'll still live to fight another day here. So that's going to put us back under a quick yellow here, Matt. So what we'll do is, while we're under yellow, once again, not going to see much strategy here. So we're going to step away once for a moment, and we'll get back to this one with the 1 to go. So stay tuned for the conclusion of this race. All right, as you see, lights are off on the pace car, and these guys are saving every drop of fuel they can. Say it's been pretty much an apron parade there, Matt, until we got to that one to go. But the big thing here, though, Matt, the teammates, they're separating now. The 25 and 26, they're going to be side by side instead of nose to tail. So we were talking about that during the break. What's the strategy going to be? Do they just say, okay, you know what, I'm going to lead the inside line, you lead the outside line, and hopefully it comes down to one of us to win the race? Or does maybe one of them jump a little early and then try to go ahead and tag onto the back? Maybe that 26 sneaks out just a second ahead of the 25 to see if they can stay lined up with one another. So it's going to be strategy calls here to see what's going to be the way to go. And it's funny, too, I'm looking at the inside row. You got the 88, the 83, and the 53 all lined up once again together, but now from the outside down to the inside row.
You know who we haven't talked about all race long, sitting in the fourth spot? Garantano. He's been very quiet all race long and has a chance to win it.
Yeah, it's true. He's right there in the mix. He's going to restart fourth behind that 25 of Brian Wang, so good chance there. BK Anderson, he's right back in the thick of this thing in sixth position. And then you got Todd Siebels, Dean Wilkinson. They're lined up together here. A couple of TW Motorsports boys working together now. I think that'll be another good combo to watch as well. So that being said, though, so I don't think Peter's going to start this race from the apron, but was saving every drop of fuel he could there. So I think this is going to be the important part here, is going to be to see what he does on this restart. Does he go early and try to pick up Brian, or like I said, do they just decide, you know what, we're going to settle out between the two of us, inside or outside, and just hopefully one of us gets the push to win this race?
Yeah, I really think Seth is going to sit there on that bottom line and try to prevent that from happening. But we'll find out as the green is about to come out. There we go, green flag. Yep,
and they go on green flag, so no strategy there between the two of them. They just want to try to do the best they can with one another. Like you talked on that, some of these guys, basically, if it's a win for the team, it's a win for all of them. So I think that's what we see here. So now job number one, though, is can that 25 stay next to that 02 car, because that's going to be a potential move for the 02 of Seth Gruber to try to see if he can get a win, if he can push himself clear of that number 25. But it looks like they stay side by side.
Don't count out the 88. Look at that third line coming out. Look
Here
at Todd
come.
Siebels getting pushed by Dean Wilkinson on the outside.
That 45-55. We talked to those TW teammates, and they are pushing here. But again, though, this isn't all over here, because they have to get to that white flag map before this race would then finish under green flag conditions. If there's an incident here through the tribal, they will rack him up and do it again if they have to. So we'll see if these guys can get through this tribal cleanly, and if they do, and it looks like they will. White flag's out, Matt. At this point, it's who gets to the line first.
I'm watching that top line. Dean Wilkinson is not getting off the back bumper of Todd Siebels there.
Yeah, so right now it's basically going to be it looks like it'll be Peter DeBorgia, Brian Wang, or Todd Siebels. It just depends on who can keep the push going, and if anything happens crazy coming through 3 and 4 here. And right now the 45, he's got just a nose ahead, but not enough to clear. So it's going to continue to go side by side here through 3 and 4. A little bobble. You saw the 45 had to roll about not to spin the 45. That's going to cost him some momentum.
Seth Gruber is giving the 26 a hell of a push.
Here they come. They're all squeezing each other here down the front stretch out of Ford through the tri-oval. And you're right, that 02 is pushing that 26 for all he is worth, and it looks like it's going to work. Peter DeBorgia going to get the win over Brian Wang. Seth Gruber, though, still going to find a way to finish in that third position. But you are right, man. That 02 car, he would not lay off the bumper of that 26 car, and that's exactly what he needed to have happen to get that win here tonight.
Wow, what a finish. Clean and green.
Very exciting finisher on that green-white checkered again. Believe that was attempt number 2. But at the end of this one, I'll say we'll obviously, you can see on the ticker there the results here, and we'll say what we'll do is while we watch that 26 car here celebrate, we'll go ahead and pull up our final results for tonight. And it's going to be Peter DeBorgia there by 0.04 of a second over Brian Wang. Seth Gruber there in third. You can see, I think Brian wants to go celebrate with his teammate. And you got Gaetano Papalardo there in fourth. Michael Spell, a top 5. Then you got Todd Siebels, BK Anderson, Jack Walls, Dean Wilkinson, and Donald Stewart are top 10. 11th on back, you've got Bobby Brooks there, Chummy Miller, Derek Gilray, Joseph Morales, Jim Brooks, Brian Grimm, Nick Manfredi, and Dustin Lamb. We'll continue running through here from 18th, started 19th. So you got then Kevin LaChance there, TJ Mashaw, Sebastian Marin. We talked about that throwaway week. That say he hasn't missed a race, so this one's going to hurt him in points at 21st. Then you got Bob Fitzgerald, Vicente Guerrero, Eric Laurie, Dan Harrington, and Kyle Power are lead lap finishers. And those a lap or more down there include Jay Hilliard, Cody Nagels, Jackson Carr, James Hickson, J.D. Crow, Patrick Groover, Dale Willoughby, Robert DuPont, Randy Miner, Jason Middleton, our 36th result. And I'm saying, once again, Mom's giving great info here, Matt. So Seth said he was going to try to push Peter to the win, and that's exactly what he did. And so I say, well, continue to watch it. Say these guys forgot where the start-finish line was, though, Matt. They say they're just going to celebrating off wherever they can here. Looks like turn one's their choice for tonight. And like I say, they got some teammates. They got the 99s in there to the 23 to 25. Like I said, a win for drivers, a win for the team. And so say we got, I believe, hasn't been too many races, but another first-time winner here, this time with Peter DeBorgia.
Yeah, great job by Seth and Peter. But almost there, Todd Siebels. I don't know if he would have got clear of that second lane, but it was a great job by Dean Wilkinson with the hell of the push there. But at least give him a shot to win it.
Yeah, I think they just had a little bobble at one point coming out of turn number 4, or entering turn number 3, I should say. I think that's what did it, unfortunately. But what we do have to do here, though, Matt, is we got to talk to our top 3. And so we're going to kick things off with that number 02 of Seth Groover. And actually, I say, going back, and say, kind of reminds me now of the chat we were talking before the race there. And so is say the push to the win, is that maybe a little bit of payback for, hey, thanks for the paint scheme tonight?
Oh, sorry, I must have missed your question there. I was in the human examination room for a second, but
apologies.
I think I caught the end of that there. Yeah, well, it was, but I also like Peter, and I like the way he races, and I just wanted to show that the bottom lane can work, and it was a great race overall. Patrick had some throttle issues early on, that kind of prevented us from working on the high side, but yeah. But it was just a good race overall. Area 51 has to be one of the cleanest top tier league races, super speedway leagues right now, and they should be proud of that. Good job, Dean and Jim Brooks and all them guys.
Yeah, it was definitely, I mean, like I said, only the 3 yellows there for the 9 laps and the 75 laps, of course, with the one faster pair as well to kind of let people have more chances at it too. So kind of gives you kind of a freebie, if you will, there. But yeah, like you said, and now's the question was if we would see you maybe try to jump to the middle if you got the opportunity, or if you're going to pretty much try to stay committed. The question Matt and I had prior to that last restart was we knew Peter and Brian were going to work together on the previous restart, of course, them starting first and third. Once that yellow came out again afterwards, and you saw that you're going to be that sitting in that third spot, was there any discussion between you guys, like, hey, how do we want to make this work? Like, as I was thinking, maybe Peter tried to jump early and Brian would slot in, or was it at that point it's like, hey, let's just see which lane works best and go with it that way?
Yeah, there was. I messaged Peter, and but you know, who knows what could have happened. I was stuck on the top there for that second to last restart there, and I didn't know what was going to happen. Luckily, I got put down on the bottom with Peter, and wherever I'm at, it doesn't matter. I knew I was going to be pushing, and I wasn't going to get clear of Brian because I knew. Gosh, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Oh, yeah, Gaetano, yeah. I think it's Papalardo, yeah.
Yeah, still, but I
it's
knew
all good.
He's a good pusher, and I knew, and Brian's one of the best too. So I knew I wasn't going to get clear, so I figured my only option was to push Peter, and glad we could get it done, man. I'm super glad for Peter, man.
Yeah, it was a great result for you. And like I said, it's kind of jokingly too. It's like we were chatting pre-race, and you mentioned that the new paint scheme for tonight as well. To say, so it's kind of a nice way to pay him back right off the bat. Yeah. I feel like.
Isn't that crazy? That's just how it works, you know. So it's crazy. He did a great job on it. I'm a big fan of Jamie McMurray and Chip Ganasky, and so is he. So that worked out.
Oh, see, I was thinking you're a fan of All Day Breakfast because that's where I would have gone with that one. But
That too, yeah.
but no, I mean, just awesome job tonight, Seth. Like I said, I mean, it was fun watching you all race long and say you and your brother working together, of course, as we're used to seeing. But then, unfortunately, some of his miscues with the throttle issues. Hopefully, that'll get resolved quickly. But yeah, then be able to see you then, like I said, get your way back up there and then fight it out with some of your friends there as well. So, just awesome job tonight, man. Definitely, though, before we let you go, I want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that top 3 tonight.
Yep, just gotta say thank you to you guys for broadcasting. Thank you to the people who are watching. My parents are out there watching. Thanks, Peter, for the awesome paint scheme, and and thank you to Area 51 for the once again clean race, and that's what we as drivers really appreciate. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot
we
of fun.
appreciate you as a driver. Like I said, I pretty much focus on you two brothers. You guys are very exciting to watch, and it's you guys make it look so easy.
It's just it takes practice, and it's a lot of laps. But unfortunately, Patrick, he wasn't he was almost clear, and that he had to make that move there. But Superspeedway racing,
Yeah. It happens.
That's part of the racing, and yeah, exactly right. So I'm gonna blame the non-matching paint scheme for Patrick's bad luck tonight. So you'll have to work with him to remedy that for next week, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Great job tonight, Seth. Congrats on that top 3.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we got to jump over to our second place finisher, and that is going to be that number 25 of Brian Wing. So we're gonna try to grab him. There we go. Grab that number 25 and start second, finish in second. A little bit of love to that left rear quarter panel, looks like at some point during the race there. But man, I mean, it was anything but, I say once again, kind of not a straightforward race, but once again, a great result for you guys and kind of getting those teammates lined up together. Obviously, the second last restart, you and Peter lined up together on the inside row. I'm guessing you guys are feeling pretty good about that. And then that final restart, you guys get split up on the front row. Did you have any thoughts what you and Peter, I should say, could do to try to either get lined up, or was it at that point so it was just, okay, we're going to line up side by side, let's just see who's the better pusher behind us? Or, I mean, what was your guys' thought process there?
Yeah, that's what we were trying to do, just stay in our lines and hopefully the guy behind us pushes. But when the caution came out, I was pretty disappointed that I was in second and I had to not push Peter because I wanted to push him.
So it worked out all right, though, because he wound up still having a pretty solid pusher behind him, and saying, and you guys still find a way to get a 1-2 tonight. But and then of course, but prior to that, I mean, prior to that second to last yellow, so you guys running 3x3 for, I don't know, felt like probably about 10-15 laps if I'm not mistaken. But it was kind of an odd one because you had a kind of some different drivers in different spots. I think you were, if I'm not mistaken, trying to push the 23 of Sebastian Marin. But he was trapped the either first car one down or sometimes tail end, depending on where he was on track. How tough was that for you to kind of manage that as well, where it's like, well, at some point, am I going to try to sneak around him, or is he going to try to let me go if we stay green? How are you trying to manage that part at that point of the race as well?
Yeah, that was really difficult. In addition to being overheating the whole time, Sebastian actually had a little bit of damage, I believe, to his front end, which did not help at all. But from a strategy perspective, I don't think there would have been a really good option there for Sebastian to drop down.
Yeah, you guys are kind of trapped on the top side, and that's what Matt and I are saying. It's like he can't really get out of the way. Like, obviously there's no way of disappearing, but obviously kind of obviously not being a moot point, if you will, just with the caution, of course. But yeah, I mean, it was a great result for you, like I said, kind of up front for a good chunk of that race there. But yeah, just say, unfortunately, you guys weren't able to stay lockstep with Peter at the end, but still able to grab that 1-2. So great result for you as well, and of course for the team as well, getting that 1-2 tonight. So definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that second place run tonight.
Yeah, just thanks to Team Bootnaka, thanks to Area 51 and you guys up in the booth, and that was some great pushing by Seth and Gaetano behind us.
Yeah, that it indeed was, and it was a lot of fun to watch there. So, congrats, Brandon! Say a great result for you tonight in that 25 grab in second place. So enjoy that one, but we'll look forward to seeing you here again soon, and hopefully get one step better there.
Thanks.
Good job there, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, Matt. That leaves us one person left to chat with, and that is going to be our race winner in that number 26 of Peter DeBorgia. So we're going to grab Peter on in here. And so I don't have the numbers in front of me, Matt, but I feel like this might be race number like 2 or 3 or something like that. But these guys just make it look easy. I don't know what it is, but Peter, you get the win here tonight. And I was joking with Seth there during his interview, saying it's like, man, it's a good way to pay someone back right off the bat there for helping making that paint scheme for him. As they get him on that last restart behind you, he's able to push you to the win. Does it feel good? It's like, hey, that worked out pretty well for me when it's all said and done.
It worked out pretty great, but I also want to thank the other 25 whatever cars we had in the pack for not wrecking, because I definitely wasn't making another green white checkered. So as soon as we got the white, that was when it felt like it was possible, because we got such a quick yellow on the first attempt there that I was just like, there's no way. We're not going to make it a full lap before they throw another yellow, and somehow we kept it together.
Yeah, I was watching you on the apron of the racetrack. I said he might be shutting the car on and off just to conserve a little fuel, because these guys are getting awfully close.
Yeah, I got a little bit of damage early in the race when Patrick had his pedal problem, and he kind of flew to the back, and it like a big checkup there. And at the same time, I got into him. Michael Spell got into the back of me, so I feel like even when I was running in the pack, I was using more gas than everybody else the rest of the race, just kind of overcompensate for that damage. So I was probably even closer, and then running at the front so much at the end there was going to make it really, really close. I think everyone else was probably good for the second one and maybe the third one, but I wasn't going to be good for a second one.
And that was actually my question too, was with those green white checkers, was if the first one was, if it was a formal green white checkered, or if it was kind of the informal where you just the timing of the caution made it a regular one, kind of an unofficial one, if you will. So yeah, you answered that one as well there. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, and we saw at one point one of the drivers duck off and pit there on that yellow for the first attempt, and so we're like, okay, that makes me think we might be having some guys pretty tight on fuel there. And so yeah, so sure enough, so it sounds like you were, I mean you had enough to at least do a little bit of celebration there at the end, but it sounds like you said, just it was not going to look too good if you had to do another attempt there.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, like, I stayed out like a lap or two more than most of the guys that pit, but because we were so close to the front, we couldn't afford to do any top offs there in the caution before. So our track position was too great; we couldn't give any of it up. And there was going to be a lot of guys who were super duper safe, and we were just crossing our fingers and praying. But man, that was some great racing. I know that I watched the broadcast. I wasn't able to partake in the race on Thursday night. I know there was a lot of yellows, and people were worried that things were getting a little too aggressive up here, and we were going to not be able to put on a good show, and there was going to be a lot of laps under the yellow. And I thought the amount of 3-wide racing tonight and guys giving each other space and respect and knowing when to push and when to leave space was really good. And yeah, that was a whole lot of fun. Even if I didn't win that race, I was going to say this was just a whole different experience than it was at IRSS.
Yeah, and I'm saying that's the thing, is it's a whole different animal. And so yeah, so Matt, so going along the lines of drivers making us look bad here, pulling up Peter's stats. So this is his third race.
I was just looking at that's his third race and your first win with
third race, first win, and second top 3 finish. So it's a pretty good stat to start things off.
I have no comment on that one.
It's worked out pretty good. I really botched the first race. I was leading a bunch of laps there, running with some guys, and I clipped the apron when we were at Daytona and never really made my way back to the front. So I've led laps in all the races I've been in here. It's been a fun series, but it's also the team I'm working with. Like I'm just working with super duper stars that you guys would expect with Sebastian and Brian and Eric Lorian. We had Dale in there tonight too, and Dan Harrington making his second start. Like there was just a lot of really good guys in there, and you're picking up everything from them. And JD Crow was in there as well, and we're just always looking out for each other. And even if you're not necessarily lined up nose to tail and pushing the guy, like being able to give him information that his spotter or his mirror is not going to be able to tell him, it's a huge help. So the stats are nice and they're next to my name, but it really goes to all of them too.
Yeah, no, it definitely does pay to have a good group with you. But like you said, you've been up front, you've been leading laps right off the bat, so it's one of those things like you do those things. It's only a matter of time until you get up there. So, just awesome job tonight, Peter, getting that win. However, so I know we've talked recently as well with other stuff. So I know you got some great partners and sponsors on board there, and definitely want to give you some time there to kind of give them their time to shine as well. So definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for anybody that was able to help you get this win tonight.
For sure. If the camera's pointing at it now, my car is sponsored all over by Extra Life. They're a nonprofit that funnels money towards Children's Miracle Network hospitals of your choosing. 100% of donations go to those hospitals themselves. They don't really spend a whole lot on advertising or employees. Very little money goes to supporting it. That all goes on the shoulders of the fundraisers and the gamers who do the work, so guys like me. So I'm going to drive all season with this stuff on my car, and then when we get to the summertime and fall time, I'm going to be campaigning, trying to get donations and whatnot there. Last year, they were able to put something stupid like $12 or $13 million towards Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and like 100%, like I said, of that money is going there. So if you do the charity search, you type in some things on there, and you'll see how reputable they really are. It's just a great cause, and a lot of gamers they'll stream for 24 hours, usually the first week in November, and raise money that way. And what a better way to do it than playing video games.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pretty good job. Like I said, it's you guys put so much time, so much practice. Like for me, I don't really put all the practice into it, but I'm sure it comes a long way for you guys to run together. I'm sure you guys run together in other forms of super speedway racing to help you out a little bit.
Oh, for sure. That's how it kind of ended up here. It was more of a, hey, I could definitely get some more practice leading up to this Monday night league. And it's like, oh, we do the Sunday night one as well. So I run with Gabe and Eric over there. Mm-hmm. Sebastian's going to be joining us in that league next season as a rookie. He's not going to be on our team, so that's going to be fun to kind of, a little bit of a rivalry there at the same time. And then, when we come back to Area 51, be able to joke about the race from the night before and that stuff. So that'll be a good show there. We see Brian and JD all the time at either an SSK or over here as well. And it's a great community, and it's awesome to kind of mix it up with different people and have different voices and pick some brains once in a while and see what people are thinking. But at the end of the day, we're all just a bunch of guys sitting at our computers having a great time together. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm very thankful to find Area 51.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, so it's awesome, like I said, to be able to do this with friends and family and just be able to enjoy yourself. And like I said, and then with you, what you're able to do to be able to bring awareness and bring funding to those charities. I mean, that's just an amazing thing to do. So definitely hats off to you as well on that one. It'll be a lot of fun to see the support that they get to help those kids. So hats off to you on that one as well, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for putting this on. I can't wait to go watch it back later.
Sounds good. Enjoy this one, Peter. Look forward to catching again soon, man.
All right, take it easy.
All right, Matt. That is our race winner there in that number 26 of Peter DeBorgia, getting his first win in race number 3. But like I said, I mean, he's in good company with some of those guys that he gets to race with as teammates and friends and stuff like that. But I mean, it takes a little bit of everything. You got to be there and have things go your way at times. But he was able to put it all together here and grab that win tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, like you said, it pays to have friends in this league. You cannot win this race and not have friends. I've learned over the years that's really hard to win. Trying to win a race pretty selfishly, and you got to have a buddy, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, and it's also good when you have some of the best buddies out there too. Like I said, these guys, I mean, they're. You get any of those guys behind you, and you're going to have a good chance. I mean, we saw that too. Todd Siebels, Dean Wilkinson, they were working together really well with those TW Motorsports guys together as well. And I mean, it was also really close with Brian there, with Gaetano pushing him. So there's a lot of talents behind them. But yeah, you got to hope that you put yourself in the right place at the right time, get that right push, and Peter's able to do that tonight and get the big win here at Talladega.
Mm-hmm. So we've had 5 races. We had 3 first-time winners and one repeat winner. That's a pretty good start for the season. Like I said, Sebastian does maintain that points lead, but Todd Siebels moves up 1 to our second spot there. So looking forward to next week there, bud.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's actually nope. We're not gonna be here next week because
Oh,
people are
that's
gonna be
right.
watching some football. So, say we took next week off because I have a feeling that Area 51 may not have, or I guess like Green White Checker TV may not have quite as much pull as Super Bowl. So, we'll make it easy for you guys if you're debating between Area 51, Green White Checker TV, or the Super Bowl. We didn't want to embarrass the Super Bowl and take over all the broadcasting, so we'll let them have that one, and we'll push our stuff around. So, but Matt, as always, man, a pleasure to have you with me here. Hopefully I'll be able to drag you back with me on Thursday, and then once I get Brendan back in 2 weeks, I'm gonna get you behind the wheel because I want to get you a win in that truck over there with the Super Speedway guys.
By the way, I will be making my truck debut. Not the week coming up, but the very next week.
So not this Thursday, next Thursday.
I will be making my Truck Series debut. So hopefully I'll be taking a lot of practice with these guys over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully I'm looking forward to it.
So you got some good guys to chat with to get some insight. So definitely, like I said, it's always fun to have you, but definitely looking forward to seeing you behind the wheel as well. So, like I said, thank you so much, man, for helping me out over here. And again, everybody watching, supporting us on Green White Checker TV, Area 51 Racing League means a ton. So thank you all for watching, for supporting us, for chatting online as well. As always, if you ever want to just get some info or anything like that, or pass info along, we always love to see it. So definitely keep after that as well. So hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the clash on right before this one kicked off as well. So I say it's racing season. We're back. So hopefully you enjoyed all of the racing tonight. Until then, though, have a wonderful evening. Good luck with the upcoming work week. And stay safe, and we'll see you all on Monday night. We'll be on Next Gens at Max Speed TV. Tuesday nights, we'll be back with the Dark Horse Area 51 Indy Series on Green White Checker TV. So until then, though, have a good evening. And, of course, as always, stay safe.
See you, Kansas.